Hey guys, Youngblood Fantasy 91 here with, you guessed it, another commentary for you wonderful people. Guptill 89. He needs no introduction. He is considered to be the archetypal Sonic fag, and if you haven't seen his original list of top 10 hottest Sonic female characters, then you should be patting yourself on the back rigorously, since you saved yourself from at least 10 minutes of unabashed affection for Sonic females, including the younger ones, I may add. If you really wanted more information, go to the Blackbuster Critic, he'll help you out. Anyway, Guptill89 made a new rant, or a Rant-A-Wreck, after a couple months of inactivity. And what he rants on is so bloody trivial. It's on corporate logos. Yes, I will admit I find corporate logos rather interesting, but what Guptill hates is how they change. It's one thing to talk about corporate logos, but it's another to bitch about how they changed over the years. True, I used to hate it when corporate logos randomly changed when I was 10. Now I realize that they changed because it is a natural human tendency to change, not because they want to spite the consumers. But apparently, Guptill thinks differently. I'll listen in and I'll see what I have to say about this.
Evolution. Noun. It's the gradual development of something, especially from a simple to a more complex form, including productive advances in technology and innovation like cell phone devices, more cutting-edge vehicles, better cleaners, and so on. Product logos also evolve.
So, Guptill, you flawlessly described to us how evolution is a natural part of the human condition, through our own advancement as a civilization and through technological endeavors. But when it comes to corporate logos, then holy crap, my whole world has been torn asunder!
Every so often, there's a change to the logo, and it's to get people to buy the item, to pay more attention.
Thank you for describing the nature of our working capitalist society. I see the point of your video slowly flying away into the distance as you continue your sad nitpicking on this trivial topic.
Lately, however, a small number of trademarks have been modified so drastically that it's become a bit of an inconvenience.
What are you, superficial? Even if the logo does change, you can still locate the product label on the box or on the cover anyways. That's what product labels are for. Quick identification of the product so that you can buy it. If you can read the product label, you're fine. Don't judge a book by its cover.
Now, I understand full well that this is one of the many things in life that you're supposed to roll with and move on, but I just find that some of these insignias don't work well.
Guptill, the two pictures you showed me of the Mountain Dew logo demonstrated minimal modification of the logo itself. So the word mountain was shortened to the abbreviation MTN. It's a common abbreviation. And who cares if the word dew is more slanted to the right, it's still red, the background is still green, and the general design is similar. I would complain if there was a complete overhaul of the logo, not minor changes that spur you into an OCD fit.
Take Nike, for instance. With the previous designs, you could easily recognize what the brand name was. Today, the current seal is just the swoosh.
Dude, it's a universal symbol. Do you realize how much advertising we come across today? Do you realize how many times we see this logo and associate it with shoes, sports, and Michael Jordan? Unless if you were born in an uncontacted civilization, Guptill, then there is no way in the 9 regions of hell that this symbol can go unrecognized by someone living in a country with any semblance of an economy.
People unfamiliar with the brand are not going to know it's Nike unless they do some research.
You're making it sound like research is another word for a lengthy school assignment. Even if I suffer from a major case of amnesia and forget what the swoosh logo stands for, I could go to Google, type in swoosh logo, and get my answer in 0.15 seconds. The internet is a beautiful thing, isn't it?
The same can be mentioned for Gatorade. Currently, it's called G.
It sure is boring around here.
You might be able to make out the tiny letters that spell Gatorade on the bottle, yet the fact that it's referred to as just G still stands.
Not necessarily. Although the company could call it G for their ad campaign, people still refer to it as Gatorade either way. And besides, like I said, if you can find the product label on the bottle, then what is the point of complaining? Corporate logos are there so that they can attract consumers, not pander to those who wish to go against the current of the human condition and have things never change ever. Adam Smith would be very disappointed with you.
Furthermore, the commercial series titled What's G that premiered the name change didn't even display the beverage. At first, I thought it was a new shoe company, and I continued to think that until I saw the refreshment at my local supermarket.
I looked up the commercial on YouTube, Guptill. How can you not think of Gatorade when you see those commercials? They feature athletes, dude. If you have common sense and can connect the dots, you will realize that the athletes plus the letter G involves Gatorade, since previous commercials had similar themes. Unless you can think of a major shoe franchise starting with the letter G that has famous athletes endorsing it, then your gripe is in vain.
Nonetheless, I believe the gold trophy goes to Chrysler. This automobile manufacturer has had a variety of symbols since the 1930s. It's interesting to see the amount of creativity over the years, but at the same time, though, it's ridiculously confusing.
Many corporate logos have changed since a long time ago. You think Chrysler was bad? Look at the Warner Brothers logos. But wait, you say, how could they have changed? They were Warner Brothers, for Christ's sakes. Well, take a look at this logo. This was when 7 Arts purchased a part of Warner Brothers back in the late 60s. That was their logo for a short period of time, but then reverted back to their original later. And what about Scream Gems? First you had the Columbia Torch Lady, then this logo that looks like it should have been in the Modern Art Gallery. All logos are guilty of these major changes, Guptill, and all of Chrysler's logos are very well known either way. So if you can't pick out the Chrysler wings or the Chrysler Pentagon, then you're not familiar with Chrysler at all. Simple as that.
Nowadays, you'll most likely come upon the 1990 Pentagon emblem or the 1998 Winged emblem. Once again, if you're new to the automotive world or if you've gotten so used to the newest seal, chances are you'll be asking someone, hey, that car with the Pentagon symbol, what company is that again?
If you're new to the automotive world, then you should have at least some experience with looking at cars, specifically older and newer ones, since you can't drive a car unless you're at least 16, or in my state anyway. So you had to have seen many variations of those logos because, again, advertising and consumerism are staples of our capitalist economy. If you haven't seen them, then you were hiding under a rock most of your life, or you simply just forgot, which is what you're probably misattributing your opinions of no change to, the fact that you forgot what those logos previously looked like.
Luckily, when it comes to other corporations, there have been some exceptions. Take a gander at Pepsi. You can see a clear progression in the logo design, and the most modern version isn't completely unrelated to its predecessors.
Dude, have you seen the modifications of the Pepsi logo over the years? The general design remained the same, of course, but the Pepsi font changed, and the overall design of the Pepsi ball slightly changed, and you're okay with that? But what about the Mountain Dew example you presented earlier? You had a problem with the word being more italicized, but you have no problem with complete font changes unless the Pepsi ball looks similar. But the Mountain Dew logo isn't completely unrelated either. I don't know. What is the point of this video?
Aside from big awkward alterations in trademarks,
Awkward? More like inevitable.
Another thing that's irritating is the method of remodeling buildings that serve the public when they don't appear to need it. The only time an establishment really needs to be revamped is if it is decaying or if it's been vandalized. For example, the Dunkin' Donuts in my town used to have this type of sign. It didn't look like it needed polishing or replacement. The building also had a tiled roof with a signboard on the side, similar to this one. The inner part was white, and it gave the indication of being inviting, all right.
So, the building roof matched the sign, and the interior matched the roof and the sign. That's good because that way people will know where the building is, what products they can get, and see that the inside is inviting, as you say. Now listen to how Guptill 89's logic comes plummeting towards the ground.
Now, the sign out front has been switched with a shinier one that has the current insignia, the roof is a beige solid roof, and the inside is yellow and orange.
The current design didn't change too much, they just adopted orange, so of course the outside sign must turn orange to keep the building up to date, so that it doesn't get replaced with another store. The roof must match too, so the building doesn't look out of place and outdated with the new sign change, and the interior must match for the same reason. So why are you complaining about progress and maintenance? Do you want your local Dunkin' Donuts to go out of business?
Re-roofing is practical, but why change the signpost and the interior? Why move the counter all the way over so it's next to the wall? That's just a waste of moolah.
Oh, boo-hoo. You have to walk another 2 feet to get to the counter. Seriously, man, what is your problem? Things have to change in order for the people to respond to the company. It is, again, what keeps our economy healthy. Your way of thinking is dangerously counterintuitive to the nature of the invisible hand of the economy. Again, Adam Smith would spit in your face.
What's the point, anyway? To get with the times? Or, once again, maybe it's to catch a person's eye.
Captain Obvious strikes again!
In a nutshell, modifying emblems and redesigning buildings can be an important factor to society and commerce. Just please don't radically transform logos to the point of confusion.
Were you around between 1902 and 1905 when that logo changed? No? Then don't concern yourself about it.
And please consider alternatives to rebuilding or repainting a structure unless it's absolutely necessary.
Okay, then it is necessary to change it to make sure that the store is kept up with the times and to catch a person's eye. That's the necessary reason to change it, Guptill. You said so yourself. And that's the way it is. Guptill, you need to understand the basics of our economy. You can't just have everything remain the same all the goddamn time, otherwise people will get bored easily and will move on to something else, and put other companies out of business. Sure, there are certain logos that are classic and only went through minor changes, but those were companies that became ridiculously successful and part of our mainstream culture. And unless you can create one of those one-in-a-million companies that will never ever change their distinct logo like Coca-Cola, then your logo and insignia will be subject to change. Anyway, that's the end of my commentary. This is Youngblood Fantasy 91. And ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you all on the brighter later.
Turn and face the strain. Change it.